When you go into a tackle store, a serious tackle store, you'll sort of be amazed at the number of fly lines behind the counter. Sizes, tapers, weights, and variety of different colors and shapes and different things to do different tasks in the world of fly fishing, so you can get yourself in some trouble real quick if you don't have some knowledge of what different lines are supposed to do. Fly lines are sold by three different ways, really, three different classifications: by type, by taper, and by size. And you have to know those three bits of information to make the proper line choice when you're going fly fishing. First of all, as far as types go, the three different types are floating, sinking, and sink tip lines. Sink rates are very important in fly lines. Floating, of course, stays right up on the top. Another type of line is called the intermediate line, very similar to old-style silk fly lines. It will sink at a very slow rate of 1.5 to 2 inches per second if you don't put fly line floatant on it, but if you were to dress the line, it will also float. That type of line can be very critical where there is a lot of wave action. You can imagine a floating fly line taking on the contours of a crashing surf or white caps on a lake situation. You have to move a tremendous amount of slack, in other words, to engage your fly to drive a hook into the fish's mouth. An intermediate line gets just down underneath the surface action on the waves and is able to maintain tautness from your rod tip to your fly a little bit better that way. Pretty popular, as I said, with saltwater fishermen sometimes. Sink tip line, we've mentioned a little bit. That's where just the end section, whether it's 10, 15, or 20 feet, is going to sink. The various fast sinking lines, some can sink at a rate of 3 inches per second. The super fast sinkers are also labeled sometimes things like Deepwater Express or Cannonballs. Those are the lines for the steelhead fishermen, for the salmon fishermen fishing in very big, broad rivers. Also the saltwater fisherman who wants to make a deep presentation to a fish, say 15, 20 feet deep. Big lake fishermen will also use them. Okay, as far as tapers go on fly lines, we have three different types of tapers. The L stands for level, DT stands for double taper, and the WF stands for weight forward. The level taper is a line that is pretty much disappearing from the fly fishing scene, and probably rightfully so. The taper doesn't help you because actually there is no taper in the level fly line, so it tends to sort of crash down on the water in a heap and robs you of the nice gentle presentation that fly fishermen are always gearing themselves toward. Double tapered line is a very popular fly line today also. It is thin on both ends so that when you cast it, it tends to land very gently on the water, especially when you're dry fly fishing. That can be very critical in low, clear water conditions where the fish may be spooky or very sophisticated in streams that get a lot of fishing pressure. You, of course, want to make as gentle presentation as possible, and the double taper fly line will allow you to do that. It also is roll casts very nicely. The taper of it is sort of similar to a bullwhip, so in a roll cast situation, you're able to lay out a considerably long and delicate presentation with a roll cast as well. The lines that we give out here and advocate most highly are the weight forward fly lines. Those are the lines that are on all of the reels that we give out in the school. And it has only one fishable taper, that's true. But if you look at it and visualize sort of the reverse of the way a bullwhip works, that's basically what a weight forward fly line is all about. It's the heavy end that you tie your leader and your fly to, and that is what propels that line cast through the air. We have a line called a bass bug taper. There's also a weight forward fly line. Other types of tapers that you might run into out there are terms such as salt water or rocket taper. Those are all weight forward fly lines, the only difference being the last tip section of the fly line itself. They may lengthen it in one case or shorten it in another case, but they're basically all weight forward fly lines. The line on the bottom is the line for the long distance casting specialist, the guy requiring the longest possible presentation. It's called a shooting head. It is a special short section weight forward fly line, can be floating or sinking, but it is married to a very thin section of running line, extremely narrow gauge, and that head, once you get that line up into the air, that 30 feet, being married to that very lightweight section behind it, shoots for tremendous distance. A caster who could, say, shoot a regular weight-forward cast of maybe 75 or 80 feet can easily throw a shooting head well over 100 feet. So now all fly lines are sold on a number basis as well, on size scales 1 through 15. The first 3 lines, the 1, 2, and 3, are the lightest weight application fly lines for trout fishing. Lines weights 4, 5, and 6, those are the lines that will be pretty much enable you to do just about anything in the world of trout fishing. The line weight that follows that is a 7. I think that's sort of a transitional type of a line weight size. A 7-weight line you can not only trout fish with very well on bigger bodies of water, you can also bass fish with it well. It also makes a fine light salmon rod or a light salt water rod. Line weights 8 and 9 are more geared toward largemouth bass, salmon, saltwater fishing. 10, 11, and 12, those are the line sizes for saltwater fishing, for tarpon fishing, for lots of blue water applications where the fish that you're after are extremely large, very powerful, and where the rod necessary to pursue them has to be heavy and large to propel that cast through the air. Also has to be very strong to fight a fish that is going to take perhaps maybe an hour to land. So we have taper, size, and type that it's going to be important that you know all about when you go to purchase your fly lines. The first 2 letters, the WF, stands for the taper, weight forward. The line in the number in the middle, the 6, tells you that it is a 6-weight line designed to be used on 6-weight rods, and that it's also, F stands for a floating fly line. Fly line cleaners are very important. When you purchase a fly line, you want to get a good fly line cleaner, and you can see the difference almost immediately. A line that's dirty tends to have a lot of friction on it when it shoots through the guides. You can rob yourself of great distance and accuracy that way.